We're live again.
What up? Let's get weirder. It's your boy, Tommy G, here for the second time in 3 minutes. The faction got us. It's without a doubt every single fucking time. When's the last time we had a streaming problem, Ev?
The last big show we had. Literally
The last big
every
show we did
fucking
like a
time.
month ago. Every single time I promote the show heavy, the fucking stream goes down. And if you people still, after all my Twitter and Instagram deletions and fucking suicide notes from Twitter and death threats, don't believe that this is a real thing. This is a real fucking thing. Bill, you have brought the faction. The faction is now afraid of you. You are now on the radar. And now you have to be careful going forward.
I'm being hunted by the faction. They got mad at me after the huge day the other day, and I cashed out a FanDuel large sum of money, and now they want it all back.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just see how that first inning went in the baseball game. I mean, you can't make this up. So
you're in trouble.
Yeah, they're after me.
Yeah. They know we're about to give out some fucking fire bets. They know we got Camozzi coming on. They know we got fucking a podcast that just dropped. And we've been promoting all over fucking Instagram and Twitter. So they took us out. But we're back. Evan, do you think we survived this faction attack?
I hope so. I really do. Because then it comes back on me.
Yes. Well, yeah. So we're already blaming you. Don't worry.
I'm fucked. Yeah. I'm getting fired, guys.
After the show, we're gonna cane you. I'm just gonna take the blame like a good host. Like I'm gonna put it on myself. But after the show, we just start fucking whipping him like he's graffitiing in Singapore. But Bill, should we call this the attaction?
The attaction episode.
You don't like it? I thought it was pretty fucking creative. Anyway, as we were saying, Chris Camozzi, UFC fighter, PFL fighter, and friend of the show now, will be joining us somewhere in the ballpark of 2:40 p.m. along with Constantino to break down this UFC card. We have baseball bets, hockey bets, basketball bets. We're going to go into it. But first, we're going to hit the headlines. Evan, throw some shit at me that I have not been following because I've spent my whole time seeing if Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter and give me my fucking Twitter back.
Yeah, well, I mean, should we just start with Elon and Twitter?
I mean, we can. Yeah. It's not necessarily sports related, but
touch on
Elon Musk. Yeah, Elon Musk did just put a fucking bid in to buy Twitter. And we talked about it on the No Mercy podcast. You guys need to check that out. Go to iTunes or any other podcast outlet except Spotify because we're banned there. And check out the whole breakdown. It's the last hour of the show. We broke down the Elon Musk Twitter thing. So before we get into sports, Bill, you proclaimed on No Mercy yesterday you were taking a stand against Elon Musk and you were going to stop him from purchasing 100% of Twitter. Would you like to elaborate here before we get into sports?
Well, I own a large amount of Twitter shares, and frankly, mine aren't for sale. So, Elon, you want to buy Twitter, you got to get past me. And it's not happening. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what he's putting down. So Elon Musk first up, all the way to the Supreme Court.
Wow. So Evan, Bill's saying Elon is only going to be capable of getting 99.999999999% of Twitter. And Bill's going to be that fucking old lady when they try to build the fucking mini mall and that old lady has her house and she won't fucking sell and they offer her like $8 million for her home.
Like,
no.
I don't
My
want
kids are born here.
Listen, I've won. If you give me $100 per share, I will sell.
So you do have a price.
Well, I do have a price.
Okay, so at least there's a price.
But his $54 or $53 something that he offered, I reject that.
Okay, so Bill has rejected the offer along with the Prince of Saudi Arabia and Bill Rupp have both rejected the price of $53.42.
We're standing strong together.
That Elon is offering. Okay. Well, I mean, listen, I'm praying for Elon to take over. That means fucking Tommy G gets reinstated at 250,000 followers and a check mark, and we become the #1 gambling company in America. So let's go, Elon. Get her done. So let's go to some other headlines that are sports related. What do we got, E?
We have Floyd Mayweather offering NFL teams $20 million for Antonio Brown to be signed.
Floyd Mayweather, like, if you want to tell me we're not in a simulation, I'm sorry, I can't buy it. We now have a boxer offering an NFL team $20 million to sign an NFL player who was just doing jumping jacks with his shirt off in the end zone in the middle of a fucking game because he didn't get the ball on a team that was going to win the Super Bowl. And he's putting a clause in it that if he doesn't fucking perform, you get all this money. Like, what fucking world are we in right now, Bill?
Yeah, he said if it doesn't work out, He will give the team $20 million. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's insanity.
I mean, how does that even happen? Like,
I mean, it's pure insanity.
The crazy thing is this could revolutionize sports. You realize that, right? Like, if something like this were to happen, I'm sure it can't happen. But if something like this were to happen, this could change sports as we know it. You could have fucking investors start putting up money to get players signed, i.e. Colin Kaepernick, Tim Tebow, anyone who wasn't able to get into the league. Do you think this goes through, Bill, or do you think this is just Floyd Mayweather acting cool?
Nah, I think it's Floyd Mayweather just flaunting his money and his bullshit. I don't think any of those NFL teams care. Listen, the bottom line is if he could play, if he's serviceable and he's good, teams would probably take a shot on him. The other problem is he's a wide receiver who's not the best in football.
He's good.
So, he's good, but he's not the best.
Right.
They're dime a dozen now. Ones like him, guys who could run the route, do the job. He's not, top 5 anymore, top 10 in football.
I think basically what you're saying, he's not worth the liability that comes with
it.
He's
not worth the trouble.
Yeah.
What I think.
I think he ends up signing somewhere. I think he ends up signing with the Ravens or something. I'm telling you, they're going to end up fucking signing him. I think
because he's good enough.
Yeah, he's going to end up on a team.
He's good enough to, to counteract his bullshit.
Yeah, he'll end up on a team once they let it all fucking die down.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened with the Brady football, Evan?
The sale was just waived off. Everybody agreed. The auction house, the buyer, the seller, they waved it off. I mean, in all fairness, it wasn't a good deal, obviously.
So they basically just never happened.
Yeah, now it's just a ball. It's just a ball.
Now it's just a ball. Bill, what do you think about that?
I mean, we kind of went over that before. We said, the guy I guess the buyer just refused to give the money, saying
that's what I think happened. Yeah.
You have to go through lawyers or stuff like that. But I think that's 100% what happened. And, and then now they say the buyer is going to try to sell it through another auction some other time, but it's worth whatever a football's worth now, or the story that goes along with that football. Maybe bumps it up a little bit more. This is the ball that originally sold for $500,000.
Yeah, I mean now it has more value, right? Than definitely would have before.
Yeah. So it's that guy. First of all, first thing I would have done was I would have sold that ball as soon as I got it, because we knew that there were rumors of him coming back. I would have paid whatever extra money the auction house. I would have had a private auction just for that football. Why wait till a date when the guy waited so long? Pay more money for them just to auction that off. Put it on the internet. Stupid. Very stupid. Bad move. Guy lost out on $500,000.
I mean, I wish he got fucked. Maybe I'm the only one. I really wish he got fucked.
The guy who bought it?
I wish everyone got fucked. I mean, you're just paying $500,000 for a football. You deserve to. I want everyone.
But the idiots who said that it was Tom Brady should do something about it or give the guy money. Why? What should he do about it? What the fuck does he care? He shouldn't have to do anything about it.
I like when people pay a lot of money for shit and get fucked because it's stupid. You're paying $500,000 for a fucking football? Like, for what? To have it in your house? And fucking, most of these guys who buy these things aren't ever going to sell them, right? They're going to pass them down to their fucking kids. They're going to fucking drop dead. They're not using it as like a money-making vehicle. You're going to have it in a fucking case above your fireplace to show your rich fucking Rudy Tooty friends that ride in on their fucking white horse to show that you have the fucking Brady ball for $500,000. You're a fucking retard. And then you're going to pass it down to your stupid millennial fucking grandkid who's going to fucking probably throw it in the yard or fucking lose it or sell it for a crypto punk or some shit. The fuck is it? Dude, those things never fucking come to fruition. So I love seeing them get fucked. So it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation that we didn't get to see that guy get fucked. But so who got fucked in this? Just the auction?
The seller.
So the seller had to take the ball back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, good. He deserves to get fucked too because he should have sold it right away.
Yeah. That's what I think. He's going to put it up for sale again, like I said.
Fuck them all.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Fuck them all. That makes me feel good. At least he got fucked. What else we got?
Next in news, we have the Cowboys corner, Calvin Joseph. He's a person of interest in a homicide, and he's being questioned.
Any details on this, or you just fucking ran around murdered someone, or what do we got here?
I honestly didn't read too much on it, but I mean, that's a big story that this guy's involved in a homicide.
Oh, murder. That's good.
I mean,
what do you think of that, Bill? You think it took place in the subway?
I mean,
where most murders are.
Most likely New York City subway. I mean, that's probably where he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you do it down there, you could just walk around, stay at a hostel in Chelsea for the night, and then just walk around New York City the next day, and then call it in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, the city there's millions of people in the city. He was the most wanted man, posted all throughout television, all throughout everywhere that day, and yet he's just walking around the city
nothing
all day. And then he's like, "Oh shit, there I'm on TV. Mm-hmm. Hey, I think I'm the guy you're looking for."
Yeah. Well, you could hear more about that on the new No Mercy podcast too, right, Bill? Shouldn't they go listen and they can find out everything? Everything about it.
Everything you want to know is on
everything is right there, and back at every fucking angle of it. And then what you should do is you should fucking send it out to your friends and tell them.
And this might be tied to the Cowboy shooting. Who knows?
And the faction
killing. You never know. I mean, nowadays everything's tied to New York City subway killings.
Pretty much, except Luke Hoffman. Somehow Luke Hoffman survives it every day.
He avoids it every day.
Every day, the kid's 5'4", and he fucking runs around the subway like Conan the Barbarian, and no one touches him.
I mean, listen.
The whole fucking subway got shot the other day. Hoffman's there drinking a fucking protein shake. Fucking didn't even realize it was going on with his headphones on. Fucking guns shooting all over. He had no idea. What a superhero he is. What a superhero. All right, anything else here? I know he fucking said something about the USFL. What's going on with this? Start?
That's the last thing I got for today. There's USFL kicks off tomorrow.
All right, this is your fucking wheelhouse. USFL, you love all this weird shit for the first week, and then you quit it.
Cano just hit a bomb.
It was gone? Damn, I thought that was in the bar.
Cano.
What do you know? Robbie Cano. Test him immediately. He should walk in a dugout. They should piss test him that second when he walks in the dugout.
Definitely on steroids.
Yeah, you should piss test him right away.
This thing is, I was pissed. I didn't understand why there's team names of states if they're all playing in Alabama. So every game is in the same stadium. So it's at 12, 4, and 8 o'clock. And they're going to play every game in the same stadium, which I didn't really understand. But I guess they said they're using the names of the original teams that just started in 1982 or something.
Okay.
So, but do you really need New Jersey Generals or whatever they are? Just call them the Generals. I mean, they're not playing any games in New Jersey. They have no affiliation with New Jersey. So I don't really like it.
But we know who to root for.
I'm sure I will be betting on it tomorrow.
I'm sure we will. Yes. Yeah. We will be clicking buttons with no clue what's happening or why.
Yeah, I don't know any of the rules. Like, is there like the Pro Bowl, there wasn't even tackling. So I don't know what when I'm jumping into tomorrow. Is there first downs? Is there 2-point conversions?
We're here to gamble, Bill. We're here to gamble.
Or 6 on a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just come to 4 deep and bet on it with us.
That's it. We're going to be betting on it. That's for damn sure. We're going to be betting on it.
Who really cares what happens?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we handicap everything else, but any sport that starts new, we're not waiting. We're going right in. Right in, head first.
Without knowing the rules or anything.
Head first. Me and Bill will be up for at least 17 to 25 minutes researching that. Yeah. At least. Maybe 30 minutes. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see how much time we have. You never know.
You got all day. It starts at 7:30 tomorrow.
We got other sports and shit. We got to focus on NASCAR. We got to focus on UFC. We got to focus on baseball. So we can probably carve out a good, 18 to 23 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably around 15 for me.
Yeah, I'll probably do an extra 7 just because I'm a man of the people. I like to put that extra work in. So yeah, we'll probably do that. That's it for the headlines. We're good, right? Let's get to the bets.
That's it.
Let's get to the bets. Mr. Rupp, we will start in the Major League Baseball Association. Right now, we have some games going on. We have the Mets 3-0, bottom of the 4th over Arizona. Boston is down 1-0, 2 outs, 0-2 count, bottom of the 1st inning. I actually like Boston in this game. If you guys didn't hit Boston before the game started. You could hit it now. I think this is a decent little spot for them. Pavetta should be okay. I think this Twins team sucks. But really, Bill, baseball, we were just looking at it last night. Everything is fucking pretty random still for the beginning of this fucking season. I mean, it's pretty nuts when you look at the fucking standings. Literally every team is 4-2 to 2-4. There's not one team with one loss in all of baseball. There's not one team with 0 losses. There's not one team with 6 losses, and there's not one team with 7 losses. So you don't have any elite teams or pathetically horrible teams. Maybe the Orioles, right? I think they were 1-5.
Orioles, yeah.
When we checked it,
so
so the Orioles are pretty shitty, but I mean, even them, they've had some decent games. They've given it a run.
Yeah. Their offense hasn't been that bad. They could have won a couple games if they lost. But it's totally it's hard. It's tough. The games are all tough. You bet one side the next day the other team comes back and wins.
It's literally in a live betting, like we said. I mean,
and the lines right now aren't they're all kind of close. Except today for the Dodgers again, and this Mets game. The Mets are up 3-0, so kind of going to the 220 minus 225 form. Everything else is under 150 basically. So it's tough. Tampa Bay, their bullpen has gotten taxed. They're not looking good. They started off the season hitting. Then Wander Franco goes 0 for 8, 0 for 9. He doesn't get a hit in 2 days. So it's tough. It's tough. Oakland was supposed to be really shitty. They will wake up and they start winning. So I don't know. It's not easy.
I mean, it's been a live betting sport so far to start the year. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that. I've been talking to, me and Bill not only bet heavily ourselves, but have a huge network of professional gamblers betting some of these guys $100,000 a game. And it's been a little upside down to start the season. And we have to factor in the fact, like we said last show, I mean, you can't forget that they only had a third of a fucking preseason.
Well, right? I mean, Vlad hits 3 home runs against the Yankees. And then last night he goes 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Yeah,
next day he strikes out 4 times. So, I mean, it is I'm just trying to pull something up here while I'm talking, so bear with me. It is a situation where we are we're still trying to figure out some of the trends and tendencies with these teams. Not much data yet. The data will come. I'm just trying to pull this up here. Let me see if I can get today's data. What's today's date?
15th.
Today is the 15th.
15. Let me see if that worked. Boom. Got it. All right, good. I have to get my fan graphs all realigned here. But yeah, the live betting has been something that we have been able to take advantage of. Last night, my phone died as I was writing it. I hit the Dodgers right before they fucking homered, minus 2.5. They were up 1 with 2 men on, and it was plus 210, and I snuck that in. So that was ending my night on a little bit of a decent note. But listen, hasn't been easy. But today we are going to go at it. There's a couple spots that I really like today that I'm going to take some chances on here. So let's run through it, Bill. What do you like for baseball in the afternoon slate?
Nothing in the afternoon.
No, anything for tonight.
The games are over, basically.
Yeah, tonight.
Again, it's really tough. I liked the Phillies yesterday. They couldn't get it done. Came close, scored some runs. Yankees is minus 220. I don't care if they're playing Baltimore or whoever. That's just too high right now to take. I'm not going to mess with that line. So they're out. Oakland, Toronto. I would say Toronto. But again, after yesterday, their hitting is up and down. Rays and White Sox. I mean, I'm not touching that game. That's for you. I do like the Giants. At Cleveland against the Guardians or the Indians, whatever you want to call them.
Fuck that.
So I will be looking at that game. And then I do also like Detroit, the Tigers. I liked them yesterday as a dog, and I like them today as a dog. So I will be taking the Tigers again today at plus 112. So right now, the only game I'm on as of now is Detroit at plus 112 at 8 o'clock.
Okay. I actually do have some spots that I like today. So the first thing I told you, I do like the Red Sox, which is going on right now. You can get them at a pretty good value because they're down 1-0. So you're going to get them at plus money right now. So I do like that. Jordan Lyles is a pitcher that I like to target very heavily. He's not very good. He's pretty bad. So Jordan Lyles is a pitcher that gives up a lot of home runs, one of the highest home run rates in baseball. It gives out about 1.7 per 9 on the slate today. That's one of the highest that's out there. He pretty much sucks against righties and lefties, but is a little bit worse versus lefties. Not to mention we're playing in Baltimore, which is a bit of a bandbox here. Nice weather. It's about 70 degrees right now all around the Northeast, and we have an 11-mile-per-hour wind blowing out, okay? So 2 spots that I'm targeting here, if you want to throw these up first, are Gallo and Rizzo to homer, okay? I'm going to do them separately. They're both about plus 400. I hate Joey Gallo. I never bet him for anything. I love Rizzo. I'm going to target the 2 lefties here. I think you can pop. I think you may get 2, 3, 4 Yankee home runs today. And I'm going to go with the 2 lefties in a very hitter-friendly park with the wind blowing out against a pitcher that gives up a tremendous amount of home runs. Jordan Lyles is, like I said, one of the worst home run pitchers that you're going to find in the entire league. So those are 2 spots I like for some real plus money if you guys want to get a little bit weird. I do like the Yankees today. Haven't bet the Yankees much this year, but I am going to parlay them. I don't want to lay the 210, even though I think it's a safe bet with Baltimore, who's really the only pure bad team in baseball right now. I'm going to parlay the Yankees with the Dodgers. Dodgers look to be coming together. They've had elongated slumps as a team, but you're starting to see flashes, Bill. We saw it the other day when Kershaw was throwing his gem. They did nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, they hit 4 home runs in a row. We saw it last night. It was kind of a tight game, 3-3, and then bang, fucking they start whacking up. They end up with 7 runs. So I think this Dodger team's about to turn it around. I don't love this Reds team. So if you parlay the Yankees money line, Dodgers money line, you're looking at plus 110. That's a place I want to be. I'm going to give you a few baseball bets today. So we're not here again until Tuesday. So I'm going to give you a bunch. Another one I like, even though Bill just talked about Wander Franco being in the midst of a slump, he is still a guy who I target on fucking hit props nonstop. I mean, he was fucking getting 3 hits a game every game to start the season. I like this spot for him today. 2 guys in this same game. So a little same game parlay. Luis Robert, who is my absolute love child. You guys know I'm obsessed with Luis Robert. Have him for MVP. Have him for fucking every way you could physically get him. So I'm going to go Luis Robert and Wander Franco each to get a hit. Neither of these pitchers are that intimidating. I'm not high on Cease. I know everyone fucking loves him. I think he's fine. Tampa Bay, it doesn't matter who they put up. They give up 3-4 runs in the first inning, fucking pretty much to every team they play. So I'm going to go Wander Franco, Luis Robert to get a hit parlay, minus 116. And then the only other game I'm really targeting here is the San Fran game. So Carlos Rodone is going to have a big year on San Fran. You guys saw it in his first start. He looked great. Going against this Guardians team, who I think is a touch overrated. I think people are getting a little too hyped up on them. This lineup isn't as sexy as they've been playing. I mean, you're looking at fucking Steven Kwan isn't going to play like this the whole year. Miles Straw was batting 9th for the Astros last year. And then the bottom of the lineup, Owen Miller, Ernie Clement, Oscar Mercado, Austin Hedges, they're fine, but this is not a dangerous lineup. I think Rodone gets through 6 here. So I'm going to be playing the Rodone over 16.5 outs in this one. And then I do have an interest in his K prop, but they juiced it up. So if you want to get weird and take a alt K prop and move it down, you could do that. But I'm just going to go with my Giants here, minus 140. I think they have a big pitching edge. I'm not a police sack guy. And Rodone coming off 5 innings, 12 Ks in his last outing. K props are live across the board in this. I may add a K prop for the subscribers, but I think he's going to have a big year here in San Fran. It's a huge park shift for him, going from the AL to the NL in this spot, and then moving to San Fran, which is a great pitcher's park. So 12 strikeouts in his first outing. He's going to have a good outing this time through 90 pitches. So he should be good to go for 100. It doesn't look like there's going to be a leash on him. So Rodone props, where I'm going over 16.5 outs, will do a K prop, and I'm taking the Giants minus 140. So those are my baseball bets for the evening. Evan, you got them all?
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Let's move on over before we get to the UFC. Let's get over to NBA real quick. Bill, we got 2 play-in games today, one of which just had some big news. Looks like Paul George is not going to be eligible due to COVID protocol, correct?
Correct. He's out.
Yeah, that's not fun for the Clippers. This fucking stupid, fucking ridiculous virus killing sports across the world looks like it's starting to come back. The Clippers right now are +1, Bill. Hawks are -1.5 in those two games. Who do you like in those two?
Well, Jared Allen supposedly is playing tonight, so he is back for the Cavs.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kevin Love. I loved his props. Last game he got a double-double. We cashed out. I loved his point total. No Kevin Love props on the board as of yet because of the news with Jared Allen. So I will be waiting on that to see both of their totals. I don't know what Jared Allen is going to do. I don't know how long he's going to play. That also affects Kevin Love. So I can't make any decision on that game until their props come out and news come out about what's going on. That other game, definitely, everyone's going to say, oh, Clippers are dead. But like you said today when we were talking,
I like them.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that they could still win this game. And I'm going to, listen, we got a future on them, and I'm going to ride them. I'm going to ride them again today. Take them on the money line, -102 or even money. I like them. I like the Clippers today.
Yeah, I'm on them too. So you could throw that in at Clippers right there. Line right now, we're getting a +1. Might as well take the +1. So we'll take Clippers +1 in this one. I actually think they may be better off without Paul George. Anyone who's watched Paul George in the playoffs, not for a series, but for a game. You got to remember, this team has a lot of gunners on it, and Reggie Jackson, and they added Covington, and they added Powell. I think they're going to be fine in this one. I think Paul George actually fucked them last game. Paul George was taking way too many shots. I know he had that little run where he hit a few threes in a row in some good spots, but he was really kind of clogging up the offense for a period of time there. So I think the whole world's going to jump on New Orleans. I like the Clippers with you here too, Bill. I don't have any lean at all on that Cleveland game. Literally nothing at all. Aber has a couple props here we'll get to, and then we'll bring on how much time we got before we go into the UFC? Are we ready for it? Or
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Okay, just let me know when we got to go to it. I'm ready when you are.
Yes, sir.
So we have Ghost has some hockey. Let me go to Aber's basketball. Aber is on Clint Capella over 26.5 points and rebounds. So Clint Capella over 26.5 points and rebounds. We talked about the consolidated rotations. Minutes has always been the issue with Clint Capella. It's never been his ability. It's always been a matter of can he get the burn. So over 26.5 points and rebounds for Clint Capella. And this one I really like a lot. Marcus Morris over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think without Paul George there, Bill, this is a good spot for Marcus Morris to really thrive. I think there's going to be a lot of Clipper value on some props. And once I was digging into baseball, once we get past the baseball, I'll be digging into more of these NBA props. But I think on the Clipper side of the ball, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to hit some of these props at some nice value here.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I said it before in the chat when Aber put it out. I'm all over that one too.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's what, 21.5, I think it was. What is it?
21.5 on MGM, yeah.
Yeah, 21.5. So I like that for sure. That will probably move up. So make sure you guys have that. Hello, Michael.
Get past the baseball. I'll be digging.
It's always something.
Always.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hi. How you
What are you
doing?
doing?
You look
What are you
confused.
eating?
Hold on a second.
What are you eating?
I'm eating a pliable.
I love pliables.
It's about to melt now that I'm live, but let me put it in the freezer.
All right. You got a second. We got to do ghost hockey plays if you need. So
I'll
Marcus
go to my
Moore.
pliable.
Yeah. Well, don't eat.
I
on
mean,
it.
nobody
You
really
don't wanna
wants
watch
to
your
see
fucking
you eat that,
disgusting-
scarf
yeah,
that down.
No.
I'll put it away.
Yeah, no, you eat like a fucking gavone. So Marcus Morris over 21.5. Clint Capella over 26.5. Ghost hockey play. Ghost likes the Panthers team total over 3.5 for this game. So let's just see here. Panthers team total over 3.5. Only 2 hockey games tonight. Panthers -300. Islanders -150. So we're going to go with the Panthers team total over 3.5 from the Night Ghost. I asked him for 2 bets. I actually let him off the hook because there is basically only 2 games. So Ghost, you're off the hook with the 2 bets. Michael, how you doing?
He said in the chat, no NHL.
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to this UFC card.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got a lot of bets on this card I really like.
Okay, hold on 1 second. All
Most
right.
wanted, more likes.
Before we get into the UFC, do you have Camozzi or?
I'm waiting on him. He's getting in the waiting room soon.
Okay. All right, cool. So when he's in, just let us know. So, Mike, run us down last week's card. Give us a little idea of what we missed last week at UFC.
So last week, which was crazy because I gave the free parlay on this show and I wound up making it my biggest bet, which was a 5-unit play. And Hazmat Chimaev didn't get the job done. We still wound up, even with a 5-unit loser, we still wound up winning just under a unit. I went 6-2 or 4-2. I forget what it was, but the crazy part is the two losers were both winners. So I had the winning side, but I had them each inside the distance. And I swore not to go back to that path, but here today, I am going to give you an inside the distance because
you've sworn not to go back.
I like the value.
Path. You've sworn not to go back to that path many times to me. You've been saying this for about 5 years.
It's frustrating though, because when you see somebody like Chimaev, who's 10-0 with 10 finishes inside the distance, and then he couldn't put away, Burns, who's been knocked out, multiple times in the past. It was a frustrating.
But do you think he changed?
Fight.
Do you think he changed his game plan because
I think
he totally didn't try to take him down at all? It was just all on the feet.
I don't think he tried to change his game plan. I mean, keep in mind, Burns is a high-level jiu-jitsu black belt, and he did initially go for the takedown and get it done, and I think he felt him a little bit and then thought maybe his best path would be striking. But Burns, is notoriously tough, but he was actually even tougher than I thought, and he fought a great fight. When you're targeted, no one wanted to fight Chimaev, and you're a fighter and you're at a certain level, and I'm looking forward to Chris coming on, and we can talk a little bit about it, but you take it personal. I mean, it's a real insult when everybody writes you off and you're as good as Burns is, a title challenger, jiu-jitsu black belt, and, he's a minus 800 favorite the other side. So there's certain little things that motivate fighters outside of like the normal motivation. And I think that was just one of them.
I think I thought what I was seeing there, I thought he was having success in the first round. He was having some success in the feet. He was having some success in the ground. Obviously, Burns got up. I said on the Discord, on the mic to Bill, because I had Chimaev inside the distance too, obviously. And the second he knocked him down, you could see it in his face that he now wanted to prove he can knock him out. I think he was trying to prove something. Mike, you could probably speak better on this, but certain fighters at his level, where they're accomplishing so much and they still have haters saying, oh, he's just a wrestler. Oh, he's just a ground guy. Oh, he's only lasted 6 minutes. He can't go deep. That these guys try to come in and make a statement that they could do the thing that the people say they can't do, almost at the detriment of their fight.
I agree with what you're saying, but I don't know if it applied in that situation because Chimaev has knockouts and submissions. There are certain things that I noticed too. Like I'll look on a fighter's face. Like I can tell, like I like to live bet, especially the fights. Because if I see somebody struggling for a takedown and they just have that look on their face and they have that dump. And it happened recently with one of the fights. I think, Bill, you may have been on The Voice and you hit it live and we couldn't believe that they were like a huge underdog. And, I think you hit it. I forget what it was. It was over the last couple of weeks. But I almost saw that with Chimaev. It scared the shit out of me. So in the first round, I think he came out and he hit him and then tried to cut for like a single. And he just had that look on his face. And I remember saying like, wow. And and Burns kept eating everything that Chimaev was giving him, and that face got worn. And then as the fight went on, I mean, he got a second wind a little bit, but I think he just ran into somebody who was a lot tougher than even he anticipated. It was a great performance by Burns. But to answer Tommy's original question, we wound up winning. We were 2-0 on our Monkey Knife Fight bets, which we've been killing. So if you are not signed up for Monkey Knife Fight yet, definitely get in. We had a unique perspective last week of fights that I didn't think were going to go the distance, fights that I didn't think would stand on the feet long, that I thought it would predominantly play out on the ground. And we went under the strikes on it. And then another one, we hit the fantasy points, but 2-0 there. And either 4-2 or 6-2. I got to look. It's driving me crazy. But either way, we
basically won every fight, every side.
We actually pretty much nailed. If you read the betting blueprint, even the fights we passed on, I mean, I nailed exactly how they would happen. I had a good feel on last week's card. I just oversized that one parlay a little bit, but with the 2-0 on the Monkey Knife Fights and then the rest winners, we netted a win.
What's up, E?
He's ready. He's coming in right now.
All right, cool. So we'll just see him pop in, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's because the thing I was doing, Mike, I don't like those inside the distance as much. So a lot of those, I was actually just parlaying the money line on the fight. So I swept off your plays. Camozzi, what up, bro?
What's going on? I finally made it.
What's cracking, man? You got the faction got you. The cabal got you last week, huh? They were wrangling you up everywhere?
Oh, man, something. I don't know what was going on with all those flights. They were getting – I went to 2 different airports, and I had, 2 different cancellations, 2 different airlines. The weather was great. I don't know.
Or did you have a good trip at least?
Yeah, I mean, my guy won. It was real quick. Yeah, it took a couple days out of the trip, so I basically got to Dominican Republic, turned around the next day at 3 a.m., and flew back. So I've been playing catch-up.
Look at Constantino. He's frozen in shock. Shocked at the beauty of Chris Camozzi on our fucking stream here. Mike, you might need to log off on that and re-log on. I don't know. Or we could just leave Mike frozen, looking like a maniac.
I'll text him.
So, Chris, you fought recently in the PFL, right? We were watching one of the fights. So I know you fought in the UFC for a long time, and I know you've had you had a 2-fight winning streak, I believe, in the PFL. Talk to a little bit about your background, what you're doing now.
Man, right now I'm between contracts, so we're figuring that out. I've got some offers to look through, so we're just kind of deciding there after leaving the PFL. I had a good season last year. It was fun having the fights so close together because I like to stay active, but it was time to move on to some other stuff. So I've got some options even in boxing, MMA. Now we're just kind of deciding what's the best way to go and where pays the most.
Nice. That's it, right? Me and Bill were talking, but we actually got into the PFL not too long ago, right, Bill?
Yeah, I like the PFL.
We liked the form. What did you?
The whole system.
What did you think of the format there compared to the UFC, or what was it like fighting there compared to the UFC? If you can't talk about it, don't worry about it.
Oh no, I can talk about anything I want. I'm a free agent.
I don't give a fuck. I'm between contract. I say whatever I want.
No, I think the format is kind of cool. Like the tournament concept is cool, but the scoring needs some adjusting. Because the season needs to either be like longer with that score system, or they need to change the point system. Because essentially you got to win. If you win real quick the first fight, you're set.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's fun. I mean, I get the reason that I could see both sides. I could see it from a fan perspective, how maybe it's kind of cool, but from a fighter perspective, yeah, it doesn't look very, very fighter friendly, put it that way. And I think that's why you're seeing it. What about this weekend's card? You know any of the guys fighting? You fight any of the guys fighting? You got any background on any of the boys this weekend?
Man, I was researching some of these guys. So I don't know any of them. I haven't fought any of them. Mm-hmm. I know who Bilal Muhammad is and Vincent Luque, right? Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Those are basically, when I was looking at the card, the only 2 that I was even familiar with, which is kind of crazy because I follow the sport obviously a ton. So it should be interesting. Sometimes those are the best cards when the guys aren't that known. So
they do this a lot. They do this a lot, right? I don't know why they do it, Chris, but after the monster cards, they end up dropping like a very, non-renowned card where you're sitting there like, who the fuck are half these guys? Do you think that's the smart move for the UFC? Or do you think they should follow a big card with all the new fans with a little more jacked up one?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if they're new fans, then they don't know half the people anyway.
It's true.
And a lot of the cards is with the smaller names, man. They're trying to prove themselves, so they end up being some of the best ones. A lot of them have become like the most exciting cards. So I was looking up a few of these guys because I hadn't heard of them, and there's some good fights on there. There's some good matchups.
It looks like we got Mike back. Con man, you back?
I'm back. I don't know what the hell happened. I kept trying to rejoin. Camozzi came on. It kicked me right off. I mean, too much energy. What's up, brother? How are you?
Mosey with the knockout right away.
Yeah, really? What the hell?
There can only be one Italian on here.
I love it. I'm trying to see what's going on in the background. I see empty bottles. That looks like a good time.
Oh, yeah. It's just my apartment. I don't do any of the decorating, but
that's Whitney's job.
Yeah.
It's great to have you join us. And Tommy, I'm sure you already got into it, but to let our listeners know that, Chris is a very respected fighter, 20-time UFC veteran, fought on, multiple platforms, many weight classes. Chris, I actually went back right before we jumped on to see if we were on the same cards together. And I found 2 that jumped right off at me, the St. Pierre, Nick Diaz fight. I was on that
Yep.
card. I had Dan Miller on that card against Jordan Mean. And then I saw another one where you fought Nick Catone, who's a good friend of mine. And we were on that card as well. So we actually, without knowing each other, we're going through the same UFC circus, for 2 fights, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I figured, you're in Jersey. So, like I said, I used to go out to New York and train with Longo and those guys all the time. And then I fought in Jersey a bunch. Yeah, Catone, man, that was a crazy fight. And then I actually went to his gym a few times since we fought. He's got a great gym out there.
Yeah, his new one, especially if you saw the one when he bought the building. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Absolutely amazing. So, Chris, I got to jump right into it here with the main event and ask you a question. As a fighter and a mindset, no one to give it better than you. What is it like when you go into a rematch? Do you look to break down and change things and be proactive that the other fighter, and you're trying to play like chess a little bit, that I'm going to change this, he's going to do that? Because that's what we have with this main event, with Luque against Bilal Muhammad. They did fight in 2016 and Luque got him out of there quick. And then they each went on to, a nice winning streak. How is it as a fighter going into a rematch?
So let's see, I've only had one rematch in my whole career. And man, I think when you lose a fight, you're hungry to get that one back. Like, fighters, we're competitive, so if somebody beats us, you don't go home and be like, I never want to see that guy again. You go home and you think about that person for a really long time. And so Bilal Muhammad's had a chance to think about this for a really long time. And we've seen him grow a bunch. He's finally hitting his peak, I think, or his stride in the division. But I'm still taking Vincent Luque. I think he's probably next up on the title challengers. That kid is solid everywhere. He's got big power, and he's my pick for the night. But I think we might see fight of the night on that main event.
It looks like a good one.
I side with you on Luque on that, and Luque did come to my gym, AMA Fight Club, and he spent some time with us and trained. Probably in that 2012 to 15 year frame. And I remember he came in and at first, he wasn't telling anybody who he was. And one of the guys was like, is that Vicente Luque? And he wound up training with us for a bit. But I remember him being very well-rounded, a very good front choke series, from that guillotine Darce position, power, well coached. He doesn't really attempt many takedowns, but once the fight does get to the ground, like I said, he's very dangerous with that choke series. I think that this is going to play out with Muhammad trying to get the fight to the ground, which creates more of a linear path for him. I have a hard time. I love Bilal Muhammad, but I have a hard time seeing him win the fight, to your point, being one-dimensional with the wrestling part. And I think Luque is going to outclass him on the feet. Is that how you see it playing out?
I do, yeah. I think the power is going to be the difference too. Bilal Muhammad's a good striker, but he doesn't bring the same kind of power that Luque does. Luque has that stop you in your tracks power, and it just makes a big difference. And I agree with you on the rest of that breakdown. I think that Luque's got kind of more tools in the box to finish this fight.
The one advantage Muhammad has is, in my opinion, one of the best nicknames in all the UFC. Remember the name. Just you never forget him. He's unforgettable. Chris, quick question for you outside of the handicapping side of it. As someone I've talked to when I had my show on Sirius XM, I used to bring a lot of athletes on, right? A lot of baseball players, football players, a couple of UFC fighters, but mostly baseball and football guys who are out of the game. When you're not fighting, is this something that is like appointment TV to go watch the fights? And is it almost like you're not there, you don't even fucking care about it? Or is this something you lock into Saturday nights and you want to see what's going on, or is there only certain people?
It depends on the card a lot of times. And now, if I'm not in training camp and I'm not fighting, I still do a million other things. So I end up kind of busy, not always on Saturday nights, but, Saturday is also the night you go out with friends or there's birthday parties or something like that. But big cards, I definitely make a point to watch. And then, if I'm at home and I've got no plans, nothing going on, no work, then I'm watching them. Yeah, I'm still a huge MMA fan no matter what. I probably, when I'm done fighting, I'll still watch them all the time.
You got a favorite fighter or anyone that you make sure to be in front of the TV for, anyone that you're really in love with?
Man, there's a bunch of them. Over the years, I've become such good friends with so many of them. So Like Anthony Smith, whenever he fights, he's one of my really good friends. Dustin Jacoby, Weidman, all those guys. You know, I've gotten close with them over the years, so I definitely never miss their fights.
Gotcha. What about the rest of this card, Mike? What do we got? We got any other bets on this card here?
Yeah, so Luke, Chris and I line up on, and Luke is part of a parlay that I'm going to give out today. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about either the co-main event, which is two fighters making their UFC debut, but both have Dana White Contender Series experience. Do you want to kick that one off, or perhaps even the Miguel Hayes fight, which is the third top billing? Why don't you take that, and then I'll come from there.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I would like to hear you pronounce their names first.
All right, I'm gonna go right for it right now. We got
I don't want to do that.
This is
Kai Baralho against Gaji Omargadzaev.
All right, I'm gonna call him Omar.
Yeah, Omar and Cow.
Yeah.
Cow.
Chow. Yeah.
Cow.
So I
Hey,
was
I got
looking these
Brazilian
guys.
kids, so I wear some sort of badge of Portuguese here.
So, are you positive you said that right? Then this is a test.
Kyle, AIL, Kyle,
0%. 0%.
Baralho. I got the last name right.
No.
I was thinking Barajo.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No,
bro. I was gonna say
Barajo.
like Kai Barajo.
No, it's Baralho.
Yeah.
Baralho.
Yeah, go get.
It's
get
a
Nat.
yo at the end. Yo, Ayalho.
It sounds
That
like
one I can tell you. That
You
one,
look like
I
you're
got
having a
that.
fucking aneurysm, as you say.
I'll have to FaceTime Vanessa and bring her on Tommy to get yelled at.
I was gonna say, go get Nats and that. That's going.
Yeah,
It's
so
good
it's-
for me. She's not here at the office, but we got a 10-1 fighter against a 13-0 fighter, and Omar Gadzaev is one of the Dagestani type fighters. So take
All
me
in.
through this one, Chris.
yeah. So I'm gonna call him Omar and Barajo or Baralo, whatever. You know
Go
what?
for it.
Omar
I'm
and
gonna say
CB.
I'm gonna say they're Brazilian.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard of these guys, so I was watching them fight the other day. I watched a few of their fights, and I think that this one could be a good one too. It's a different stylistic matchup. Obviously, the Russian style is wrestling, grind you into the ground, look to TKO you or submit you. The Brazilian Baralho, he's got big power, but when I was watching him fight, one thing I saw that he does is he kind of rushes in tall, right? He looks to throw big punches, but as he does that, he comes in tall and he marches his feet forward, which sets up perfectly for Omar to take him down, because those Dagestani or Russian or whatever he is, they've come up with a formula, man. And if they want to put you down, most of the time they will. And it comes down to if the Brazilian can get back up. But I don't think he's getting back up from Omar. And I'm going to pick Omar for the win. I'm going to say I was torn between submission or TKO, but I'm not positive.
Well, you could actually. So the beauty of that here is, so you think he's going to do it inside the distance? You think he's going to finish him before the bell?
I do.
All right. So you could take. So for those of you looking to make the bet, Omar is minus 126 just to win the fight. So you're laying 126 to win 100 on that. Or you could take him Chris's way right there, where you can get him by TKO, knockout, or submission. So you get basically everything inside the distance plus 200. So you get 2-1 on your money there. So we're going to go to Camozzi special there. Omar inside the distance plus 200.
I would say over 2.5 on the distance,
All right.
if you want to break it down.
Got it there. All right, Mikey, what are you saying? You're on the same page here?
You know, I'm almost like Chris, where I wasn't familiar, with either of these fighters. And the one thing I do want to point out is that Baralho is a jiu-jitsu black belt. And I do believe that Baralho has the better striking of the two, Chris. It's almost inevitable, right, that the Russian, let's call him, or Omar, will get it to the ground at some point, but then what's going to happen when it's there? Like I said, Baralho is pretty capable on the ground, and I think he'll control the striking. Something that's interesting, if you do favor somebody inside the distance, this fight to finish inside the distance, which means you can get either side, is minus 144 here on FanDuel. I could possibly see the fight finishing. I don't have an official bet on this right now, just because there's fighters who I'm very familiar with. I don't want to lob a bet out there, but let's say, two fighters that I'm really not, right? So for this fight, I don't have an official pick yet, but listening to what you're saying and kind of what my homework was on it, maybe the inside the distance on it then, but I heard you say over 2.5. So I'm a little confused on it. So I'm going to pass on making an official
I think
bet.
I'm just going Omar. I'm just riding Omar. I'm riding with Chris and Omar. You said he's the Dagestani one, right?
Yeah. Tommy loves the Dagestani.
Anyone fucking Dagestani, I bet every
Tommy
time.
has favorites and Bill Rupp has favorites too. So
yeah. I'm gonna go out on a whim here, and this is kind of my thought. I think that later in the fight, Omar's gonna hit those takedowns, and he's eventually gonna break the Brazilian guy. So I'm gonna say it. A lot of times the Brazilian guys come in big, muscular, strong, but the cardio isn't there when they're getting taken down and stuff like that. They tend to fade out a little bit more size-wise, I think. So that's kind of why I was picking a late finish.
That happens, Chris. That happens a lot with the big muscular guys, right? There's something with the muscular and the oxygen where they don't really last as long in the fights. Is that a common thing?
Yeah, I mean, your muscles need oxygen, right? So sometimes being like the big, huge guy isn't the best for this sport. Whereas people back in the day used to think like these huge guys would just crush everybody, and it's not the case. But I think that the Russian guy is just going to be relentless on that takedown. Mike, I think you're right. I don't think he's going to look to stand too long, but I think it's going to be kind of a grinding match, and eventually he's going to wear him down and get the finish.
Here's the bet then, guys. We got it right here. So we got Omar to win in round 2 plus 750. Omar to win in round 3 plus 1,400. Wow. So we could throw a little small stab on Omar round 2 and round 3. Then we don't give a fuck which round it happens in, and we're getting 7.5 times our money and 14 times our money. Bill Rupp, what do you think? You gonna ride with Chris on that?
I'm all in on that one.
There you go. You give me and Bill plus 1,000. We're fucking rocking with it. So there we go. That's my job, Chris. You guys do the smart research, and I figure out a cute way to make it a fucking bet. So
all right.
I like those odds.
I like that. Yeah, and that segues really good into this next fight too, Chris, which is Miguel Hayes, who's somebody who I was big on, and we've bet on him. I think maybe in all 3 of his UFC, he has more than 3. I bet on him against Matt Brown, and we won. And I did lose on him against Kalen Williams. Predominantly a striker. He does have good wrestling, heavy hands. And then Andre Fiallo is, a knockout artist per se. And we most recently saw him fight Michel Pereira, who's a good striker as well. What do you make of this fight here?
So is it Baeza?
Yeah.
Baeza, yeah, Miguel Baeza.
Yeah, he's real well-rounded. Looking back at some of his losses, man, since he's come into the UFC, he's had all tough fights. They haven't done him any favors that I've seen, which says something, So losses don't always mean everything. It's who you fight, and that kid was thrown kind of in the deep water from the beginning, and he's done well. So I'm going to take him in this fight, but honestly, I think it's having more tools in the box, right? He's a little bit more rounded. Fiallo? Okay, I'll call him
Andre.
big striker, but mostly a boxer. If he lands, man, and guys go down. But I think Baez is going to be moving a lot more. I think he's got the kicks. He's probably better on the ground. And I'm picking this one for – what was I going to say? I think the main event will probably be fight of the night, but this one might be a close second. I think that's just my thoughts. So I don't have I don't know how he wins, but I'm picking Baeza.
Well, he's only minus 180, so it's not, the line isn't too juiced. We could just take that straight. Baeza minus 184.
Well, let me stop you there, Tommy, because I was just looking to see what this produced. Baeza and Luque, who Chris and I match up on, yields 142 plus 142 if you take Baeza and parlay him with Luque. So Luque is a matchup for us, and I actually like the Baeza side myself. But if you put those two together, which we unify on, you take back 142. I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Let's do that. All right. So, Mike, you said you're on Baeza too, right? Sorry, Chris, to cut you off there.
Yeah, I'm on Baeza. I do like that fight, perhaps to finish inside the distance. Baeza does have a height advantage here. Fiallo is pretty much a knockout or bust. I do think Baeza has more tools. And I like that little pairing right there, Baeza and Luque, because I am very confident on the Luque side. I just think that he has way more paths of victory, and he has that edge that he did beat him before, and he got him out of there quick. And I just think it's be very hard for Muhammad to just win a wrestling match here against Luque. So.
Yeah. Chris, you were
I agree. No, Mike answered it. I wanted to hear his opinion on this Baeza and Fialho fight. See if he kind of lined up with me. I think it's just having more tools in the box that gets him the win.
I agree. I agree with that. He has more UFC experience. He's been in deeper waters. He has a slight height advantage. He has a black belt on the ground as well. And from what I saw from Fialho when he fought Pereira, who's, an acrobat, as we know, right? Front flips, back flips, cartwheels. You know what I'm talking about, Tommy? Yeah. Michel Pereira. And he got him out of there in more of like a technical kickboxing match where he kind of outlasted him. And I think that Baeza can do just the same. So I do favor Baeza here.
All right. What else you got on this, Mike? You got another play here before we
Yeah, well, I have Chris on the phone. I mean, I know we're going to go over those 3 cards, but I'm going to give you my official bets that I had because I'd like to hear Chris's feedback if he has them on it. I did have a parlay that included Luque, who we unified on. And then I'm going to also include in there who I think is just going to starch the other fighters, Pat Sabatini. He's a fighter I'm very familiar with. I promoted a lot of his fights for Cage Fury when I was a partner there. I seen him fight a lot. He trains with Daniel Gracie and Sean Brady and Paul Felder and, those killers down in Renzo Gracie, Philly. He's a high-level jiu-jitsu black belt. He's a high-level wrestler. Very similar skill set to Sean Brady. I think that he's just going to maul TJ Laramie here, who has been finished in the UFC. Talk about murderer's row, too. I mean, they didn't do Sabatini really many favors, when the fighters he's faced in the UFC. He got a layup with a little bit with Tristan Connolly, but then after that, he got Jamal Embers, who's pretty tough, and then Tucker Lutz, who's really tough. And he's been 3-0, in those 3 fights. And Laramie has been finished. I do like Sabatini to get him out of there. I think he's going to maul him in the wrestling department, and Laramie has been submitted. So I'm going to give you a Sabatini inside the distance plus 125, which is either a knockout or submission. Now, he doesn't knock many people out. And the submission only prop is plus 165. However, when you do get that dominant top position and the sub's not there, I could also see him maybe going for some ground and pound here because I think he's going to maul him. Like that. The way it's going to look to me is a mauling. So if there's a possibility for ground and pound, I don't want to eliminate that. So I'm going to give you Sabatini inside the distance plus 125. I just played that on MGM. And then I'm going to take Sabatini and I'm going to put him in a parlay with Luque. And then I have one other fight we didn't talk about yet. But Chris, are you familiar with Sabatini or Laramie in any capacity?
So I'm not. But one thing I will say is what's great for you or your viewers is that you being a promoter, a coach out on the East Coast, there's advice to be given on like unknown guys when they come in. I'll give you an example. I think it was Stipe's debut. He fought Joey Beltran. And Stipe
executioner.
Stipe was the underdog.
Wow.
But I knew him and like had been to the gym and I knew that he was a college wrestler. He was a Golden Gloves boxer. I knew he was a killer. And so seeing him as the underdog, my buddies and I were like, let's bet the house on him because it was his first UFC fight. Nobody knew him. He was the underdog and it paid off. So sometimes having those inside tips and knowing these local guys coming in and kind of knowing where they come from is great advice. So any of the viewers out here, I would take Mike's advice. I don't know them, but I know Mike and guessing off that and him knowing them and seeing them come up.
And then you usually, Chris, you usually only get 1 or 2 shots to get guys like Stipe or these future stars when they're first coming up. Because once they have that big showing in the ring, you're never seeing them at plus money again the rest of their career until they're fighting a Cormier or, in a title fight. So you got to jump on them early.
Well, I got something to add on to what Chris is saying, and Chris, you'll appreciate this. So, when you're part of the UFC, and I hate to say it's like a circus, right? From the minute that you get off, you get picked up. And back, Chris, when you were there and I was there, he's my partner now in my live MMA promotion. But Burt Watson was the shit, running the show. You come in, you take the scale, you hear, don't take an aspirin, don't do this, right? You go through that whole thing from Tuesday to Saturday. And then you're in those workout rooms, right? Back in the day, it was red corner in one room, blue in the other. And you get to see people in that room as you're cutting weight and training and working out. And a fun story, Tommy, you'll appreciate this. And I just pulled it up for the date. In 2008, on Anderson Silva versus Patrick Cote card, I'm in the workout room. And I had Dan Miller on that card. And UFC debut of Junior Dos Santos. And he was fighting Fabricio Verdum, who at the time is Verdum. And I remember watching Dos Santos cracked the pads, Chris, and he was hitting uppercuts from like the ground. The pads were cracking so loud. I remember saying, holy shit, this guy's going to kill Verdum. And I went and I bet him inside the distance, and it was like plus 550 or some crazy number, but it was just from being in that room. And I see a lot of knowledge and information that comes out of that scenario as well. Have you seen that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see a lot about guys in those workout rooms. Sometimes you got to, well, the heavyweights, it's a done deal. Other guys, you got to pay attention to how much weight they're cutting, how they look back there. But end of the day, when you're cutting weight and stuff like that, Mike, you know, when you see somebody hit pads, you can see a lot about them because everybody should look good hitting pads. I've seen some people that look horrible hitting pads, and that kind of tells you a lot.
Probably not going to do that.
Absolutely.
Hit the pads well. What about?
No, I mean, it was just otherworldly, like the power that he had.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I'm just going to give you the last piece of my parlay, and I know Chris has to get out of here.
Yeah.
It is a heavyweight fight, which is fun. And we were on the other side that I'm betting against now, and I'll refresh your memory of who it was. So we were on the Chris Barnett side. You remember the heavyweight? He got the knockout, did a front flip in the ring. He knocked out Jean Vellante. Chris and I both know pretty well.
Yeah.
And I managed him for a short period, and I used to have trouble, Chris, booking him fights because he couldn't make 265. So we used to have to book him super heavyweight fights in Japan, 285 and crazy weights. But he's running into Martin Budai here is another name that's hard. And I think Budai is technically sound, heavy-handed, and he's just going to outclass him with that. And I know the fighters pretty well here. So I put together Sabatini, Budai, and Luque in a parlay as well. And that took me back plus 165. So that's my official bet for here that I gave for the show. Sabatini, Budai, and Luque parlay plus 165. I have the Sabatini inside the distance plus 125. And then the Constantino Camozzi or Camozzi Constantino parlay, I'm going to give Chris top billing. We're going to give you Luque and Baeza too. I like that. Let's add that, Evan. Luque and Baeza as a parlay, and that's Camozzi and Constantino parlay.
I like that.
That's it. Yeah, I remember that fucking Barnett fight with Vellante. Fuck.
Oh man.
In the betting world, as much as we love them,
like a spinning wheel kick or something. He fucking cracked him with or something.
Yeah, and then he did a front flip in the ring. And
that motherfucker. Fuck that guy. Killed my parlay. Yeah, Chris, don't want to keep you much longer. Really appreciate you staying as long as you did. One last question for you before I let you go. How many, you guys know we do the Conspiracy podcast, the No Mercy podcast. What percentage of UFC fighters, Chris, because it always shocks me. I feel like UFC fighters have the highest propensity of being conspiracy theorists of any other athlete that I've talked to my whole life. Is that common in the UFC?
100%. I would say 90% of the fighters I know are conspiracy theorists.
All of them. Like, it's fucking nuts. It's like an immediate bond. When me and you started talking, you were like, yeah, I've listened to podcasts. I'm like, wait, what? It's just fucking, what do you think the reason for that is? It's just the kind of alpha energy that isn't afraid to go against the grain and not being told what to do like the sheep, or what's the reason for that?
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of hard-nosed guys that got into a sport that wasn't very common. And we also get bullshit thrown at us all the time because it's not like the MLB, the NFL, where like Nike comes at you and stuff. Right. We have to hustle and dig through like some of the, I can't tell you how many companies over the years that have been scams that I've been fighting, and they're like, oh, we want to sponsor you. So we have to like do our research. We have to dig through things. These other athletes don't have to.
Right.
So I think that creates some of it, that, and I don't know, you're in the gym with, I mean, let's be honest, like MMA doesn't always bring the most like upstanding citizens in. So you get walks of all life in the gym, and then you start sharing with your training partners, you talking, you're having conversations, and it kind of goes from there. It spirals. But I think we're just used to seeing through a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. When I had the show on Sirius XM, every time we had a fighter on, I would throw the question out. They'd be like, don't ask that. And every time the answer would be, oh, yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. But anyway, Chris, really appreciate you coming on, my dude. Hopefully we can do this again soon. Let's stay in contact. And Mikey, any final words for Chris?
Yeah, I want to thank you too, Chris. And I look forward to hopefully doing this again. And let's win our fucking parlay.
Let's go.
Yeah, no. Now I got invested interest in here, so I'm gonna be watching this one.
I'll tell you what, for the sake of fun here, and Evan, I'll let you pick it, or Tommy. I'm gonna put in a $300 parlay, 100 for me, 100 for Chris, and 100 for a winner that Evan can pick, a lucky listener or however you want to do the contest. And I'm going to put in a $300 parlay. And if we win, we split it 3 ways. And if we lose, I pay it all. So Chris,
got to pay like
parlay
plus 5,000
for free. Chris got 100 for free. I'm in, and then Evan pick a winner, and we'll give our listener a free ride with me and Chris.
I want to add Camozzi's third round plus 1,400 finish into that.
That's the Tommy Mayhem parlay.
Let's make some fucking money here, Chris. Fuck that few hundred bucks. Let's jack this up. Guys, follow Chris on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter at Chris Camozzi, CAMOZZI. And I believe on Instagram it's Chris Camozzi MMA, right, Chris?
Correct.
Yeah, Chris Camozzi MMA on Instagram. Chris, thank you very much, brother. We will talk to you soon. Appreciate you coming
thanks, guys.
Later,
Thanks,
guys. Appreciate it.
Later,
See you
bro.
guys. Take care. Stay cashing.
We need more Italians, Mike. More Italians on the show. That's what we need.
All right.
I'm a little concerned. He was a little better looking than me.
Well, he's a lot better looking. It was a lot better looking.
Where's who's our guy? Tulit or who was in like Sam Tripoli and then said me? If he would have saw Camozzi, it would have been out.
I don't know. Where are you going now? Are you taking a walk while we're on air? What's going on? You gonna get a sandwich?
I told you I came into the office the other day and there were fucking ants.
Well, so what do you guys think the odds are that Mike knows we're still on air?
0.
1% or 0%?
Absolutely 0.
0%, right? Yeah.
Oh, we're on. I think goodbye.
We didn't wrap up. We gotta pick the winner.
Well, we get some nice views of your nipples here and shit. That's pretty good.
All right, come on.
Bill's face is the best. Bill, did you have that prop?
Plus 9,000.
You always trick me in some
We
capacity.
didn't trick you. We just everyone stayed on air. Did you see me go good luck, stay cashing, and do the fucking sign
Oh, you
off?
said any final words?
Yeah, for Camozzi.
Oh God. Okay.
Jesus Christ, Mike. Well, we know about your ants at least. Good thing I cut you off.
It was a good shot of his nipples.
Yeah, we got some nice.
Oh, you really
nipples.
saw my nipples?
Yeah, you know, fucking.
I can see my nipples. Some nipples.
Well, now we can part. All the bets are in. The plays are out. Mike, final words.
Let me know when I'm live.
This is your turn for final words.
Yeah, final words. Monkey Knife Fight 2-0 last week. We're killing it. Sign up. We had winners last week. Let's go. Come on. Sign up. Give them the best sign up offer. And let's go. Come join us.
That's it. Monkey Knife Fight. Bill Rupp, final words.
Collect on Monday. And watch the new No Mercy podcast.
Well, you can listen to it, which is the better way to do it since it's not on video.
Yeah, listen, watch, whatever.
Do whatever you want. Just make sure you tune in. Evan Hand, final words.
All right, so as promised, we were going to give away a T-shirt, and we're going to. We did that raffle if you were watching the chat.
I saw like fucking exclamation point Jesus.
Yeah,
What
that's
the fuck
that's from March Madness still when we did the last giveaway.
I thought they were talking to
I'm
me.
really gonna blow your mind because I'm going mobile as we're wrapping this up.
All right.
That's great.
Well, the first winner is going to win a T-shirt, and the second winner is going to win the possible $100 that Mike if they win. So DM me if you win. First one is going to be Andrew McVeigh. Andrew McVeigh, if you're here, please DM me on Twitter, Evan_Hand. You'll be winning the T-shirt. Send me your size, address, all that stuff. Second winner for the $100, possible $100, Jimmy Foister.
Oh, Jimmy Foister.
You are
Jimmy
in for $100.
Jimmy's in the running. Is it $100 or is it the parlay? What is it? I don't even know what that was. I just know I'm hitting
It's the parlay. So if the parlay wins, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
if the
let's
parlay
go.
wins, possible $100.
Let's go. All right, awesome.
That's it.
So, any other words outside of that, Evan?
That's it.
That is it. For Constantino, Bill Rupp, Evan Hand, and our boy Chris Camozzi, who did a great job. Appreciate him coming on. Make sure you guys go follow him at Chris Camozzi all over the internet and Chris Camozzi MMA on Instagram. I am Tommy G. Good luck. Stay cashing, motherfuckers. And go download.
Let's go!
Go download No Mercy.
Let's